video is covering Chapter 2 of Fundamentals of English Grammar. It's covering the past tense, and this is Lesson 2. So this one will be about the difference between the simple past and the past progressive. So first off, let's see what you already know. So let's complete the sentences and use either the simple past or the past progressive form of the verbs. So remember, for the majority of words for the simple past, it's going to be adding ed or some form like that. And the past progressive is going to be using the past tense, was or were, of the verb to be, plus the ing form of the verb. So the first one, Sarah was chopping vegetables when she cut her hand. So remember, cut is an exception because it is an irregular verb. So it began, another exception, to rain while we were walking home. Luke scored a goal while he was playing soccer. The fans stood up and cheered when their team won. Kendra didn't hear her phone. She was sleeping when you called. So the simple past is for actions that began and ended at a particular time in the past. The past progressive is for actions that were in progress at a particular time in the past. Look at the examples. The bus drove by. Edgar was running when the bus drove by. So in this one, the action that was in progress was Edgar was running when the bus drove by. He was running when the bus drove by. Edgar was running before, during, and after the time that the bus drove by. The action finished while running was in progress at the same time. Right? By the action finished, we mean the bus drove by. That's done. It's not there anymore. He was still running. So we use the past progressive for longer actions and the simple past for shorter actions. Look at this example. They were eating when I got home. So we use was or were plus with a verb plus ing to make the past progressive. We often use when with simple past verbs. So when means at that time. We often use while with past progressive. While means during that time. So when the bus drove by, simple present, because it's at that specific time. Edgar was running, right? This was during that time. We can say the bus drove by while, right, during the time that Edgar was running. So to make negative statements, we add not between was or were and the main verb. We often use contractions in spoken English. So was not becomes wasn't, were not becomes weren't. So I wasn't talking, they weren't talking. For questions, start with was or were. So look at the examples. Was she talking? Yes, she was. Were they talking? No, they weren't. So read each sentence. Which activity happened first? So when we're doing this, there's actually a very simple way of getting the right answer for this. Remember that the past progressive is an action that was in progress. When we say that it was in progress, we mean that it started before and ended after. But when we're asked which activity happened first, when we see a sentence like this, where we have one in the progressive and one in the simple past, the progressive always happened first because it had to start before the second action. So was cooking happened first. Again, if we take a look at this, just look at two verbs. We have landed, which is in the simple past, and was raining, which is in the past progressive. So the progressive is always going to be what happens first. What about this one? We were watching a movie when the power went out. Progressive, always going to be first. We ate dinner last night, then we watched a movie. Uh-oh, we don't have one in the progressive, so we got to think. Well, fortunately, there's a word here that actually tells us the order. Then. Then means after, right? Whatever comes after then is going to be the second thing. So the thing that happened first is we ate dinner. Okay, here we go back to easy. We got progressive and simple. Progressive is always first. Here we got too simple. The teacher walked into the room, everyone put their phone away. We don't have any clue words, but we can think. Do you think that everyone put their phone away before the teacher walked into the room or after? Probably after. So that's the activity that happened. So in this one, we want to choose between the simple past or the past progressive. Remember, we want to remember that the simple past is the shorter of the two actions that was finished, and the progressive is going to be an action that, the action that was in progress when something else happened. We can also remember that we have some clues that after when, we normally use the simple present, or the simple past. After while, we normally use the past progressive. So in this one, we have the word when. So Beth was dancing when? It's going to be she hurt her ankle. So in this one, we have the word while, but that's already progressive. So we want to ask ourselves here, if both of them are progressive, it means they happened at the same time. If one is simple and the other one is progressive, it means that this one happened first and then this one happened. It makes more sense to say you were texting while I was waiting for you. Technically, you could say you texted while I was waiting for you, but it makes more sense to think these things were happening at the same time. So in this one, Harry worked or was working at a bank when he first met his wife. So in this one, it's going to be was working because that started first and was in progress when he met his first wife. I didn't hear, or I wasn't hearing the phone ring. Well, this one's a little bit easy because here we know is a non-action verb. So there's only one form that we can use. So I slept or I was sleeping when you called. So we want to think about this. Was this something, a short action that was finished or something that was in progress when something else happened? And this one is going to be was sleeping. So this last one, we drove or were driving during this time yesterday. So remember, we talked about the word while, and while means during or during an event. And we said that we always use the progressive, or we generally use the progressive with that. So in this one is going to be we were driving during this time yesterday. So we use the simple past to describe three pictures. Use the past progressive in for the three others, right? So you could say they finished yesterday and they were fishing yesterday. You can go ahead and do this if you'd like. I'm not going to. For more practice, you can look at tables 2-5 to 2-7 in your book.